head into. Often normally seeing a lot of Sombra and Doomfist on the first point because thanks to all the high ground around, especially around the hut piece, is that for the Doomfist, he can basically drop in with the Seismic Slam, get full damage on the back of that as soon as the enemy team is forced to push through the choke. It's also very hard to play Sombra on this map for the attacking side because you trying to run through that gateway, you can have a D.Va spy check in pretty much 24/7. There is no way you can walk through without being detected.
But remember as well, it is possible to draw on assault maps. Young Beautiful draw, they still lose the series, still kill their playoff hopes.
Absolutely.
They have to win.
They get to go first.
And set the tempo of the map.
They do. And good to see, Suna I don't think he's going to stick on the Tracer. If they try and run out here with the Sombra Tracer, again, another Season 2 special. Haven't seen that for quite a while. Isn't really something we've seen played a lot into Ghost, but HSL, well, they're not running out with Ghost. They're running out with the Orisa and the Junkrat and the D.Va. Quite a common comp that we saw quite a bit in Overwatch League for a while, back as a response to the double sniper meta, thanks to the huge shields that you're constantly getting regenerated by the Orisa. And anyone who tries to dive into you, well, they get immediately hard punished by the Junkrat.
Changing it up, going for the Far Mercy as well. They'll fight Sardis from the skies. He can only volley those grenades. He cannot shoot them direct.
Okay, so now they know the comps is being played, and they're not expecting too much spy checking apparently, although there is a bit of spy checking going on. It was more the fact that the D.Va is going to have so much time being put onto Graceful here, because your aim is to make sure he, even if you're only using half of his rockets, you mitigate so much damage coming in towards your team. And look at this flank coming out of Graceful.
Going a long way around.
Yeah, and they've got the Discord orb on him as well. Got to be very careful. He can die very quickly here.
He has got a Mercy in his pocket though, that's the thing, keeping him healed up. Zeke going to start spraying him down. He needs to stay away from Hackridge. Oh wait, he nearly got him with the concussive blast then. They're going to try and have to stay away from him. They got bodies on the point. He's just diverting attention while Danny comes in and cleans up Ashcroft. Suna goes in on the Progi. It's working. Young and Beautiful are pulling this one off because HSL just cannot adapt to what's been thrown at them.
I wasn't so sold when it came down to Sombra and Tracer because you being able to get into the backline and harass a team that sat behind a shield puts yourself at huge risk. Admittedly, there was no D.Va, but you walk on a trap or you get caught by a stray grenade from the Junkrat. That's 120 damage about to smack you in the face. But this flank coming through where they were being peppered on one side by the Sombra and the dive tanks, and on the other there was the Pharah. There was just no way they could respond without losing control of the point.
I heard the Nano Boost Q and I was like, wait, well, who are they nanoing? And then Ding just instantly changed to Zenyatta, so it was just part of the change. I see you. You're just trying to bait me with audio cues as they move in with a different composition, keeping Suna on that Sombra because the EMP is available for them, but Zeke's got one of his own. Going to use it on the back line, and HSL Esports taking it to Young and Beautiful. Progi finding a double kill. That's 2 supports down. Make it a triple as he finds Suna. Danny will end his reign of terror, but the fight's already won for HSL Esports. Young and Beautiful, momentum play, killed.
I kind of wish Suna had held on to his there because yes, they got EMP'd and he ran outside and was like, well, if I pop mine now, maybe we can turn this around. But by then, they'd already lost a couple of key members and it really hurt them. But admittedly, they have changed things over. Graceful is now going to be the one playing onto that Sombra, and Suna is going to go across to the Brigitte.
I think yet again, it's about finding that ideal composition. It might not have been the most optimal EMP, but if you know you're going to change anyway, you may as well throw it out, see what you can get from it. He's going to sneak in, Graceful, snuck in behind him, scouting out, making sure that HSL haven't made any changes of their own. Zeke going over to Dezachu, saying no, that's an option. Tonic stunned up as Zeke puts the Primal Rage onto the map. Throws those hands up, but it's not enough. Life going to go down. Sardis takes him out. Danny taking out Progi while this is going on. Suna, again, clearing out the mech on this D2, and he'll take out D.Va afterwards. Charges with that Transcendence if everyone's topped up, but Ding and Suna still taking control. Young and Beautiful have the man advantage on the point, and Zeke about to protect the barrier. Should go down here, but he's kept alive by the bubble from Progi until Ding comes in and says, I don't care about your bubble, I'm just going to pop you anyway. As he finds both tanks with those hands and those orbs. Ashcroft getting a DMX, self-destruct, buys more time for HSL. EMP coming in for Graceful to keep the fight going with a Transcendence to top everyone up. But I don't think there's much wind left in Young and Beautiful sails as HSL Esports just have an aggressive spawn advantage to take back control.
Absolutely, and I thought for a second then Young and Beautiful would cap that one out and we'd find ourselves going into the 5-6th rounder of Hanamura like we saw last week, but not quite to be the case. It's a bit of a weird fight overall, but once that, I think, pick came through onto Tonic, once that main tank is done and out the way, you lose the shield pressure. For HSL, it was just a case of picking off the stragglers as and when that EMP expired and pulling it back from there.
Luna, about to get the rally. Gustav getting towards that sound barrier as well. On HSL side, you've got a Primal Rage and a Graviton Surge available for Zeke. That one's going to be big if he gets it on top of the team. Staying up on this high ground for now. Doesn't need to commit as he drops down onto the fight. Tonic's there with that Orb of Harmony, keeping him topped up. Not much energy in favor of Zeke for the time being, but he's going to build that up quite quickly. First grabs on Surge. Now he's grabbed multiple members. What are they going to do with it? He's hacked up. He can't follow up with the damage, but Sardis, Tech, and Progi surely can. Hadan will get that final kill on the retreat. As Zeke goes straight for the Zenyatta, takes out Ding. It's going to be another one fight for HSL Esports, burning through nearly half of that time bank. Young and Beautiful brought to the table.
The risk from Zeke firing that straight across the line of Danny as well, but Danny I think was a little bit too slow to turn around and pop the defense matrix as that Graviton flew through the air. Called out 3, but you saw him get sucked into it himself with the defense matrix active, so it shows he was going for it. Must have just very narrowly missed that one out. But Young and Beautiful now, Graceful. I'm looking towards this guy with the EMP online if he can catch 3 or 4 members in this one, especially Hadan, and deny that Transcendence. That AoE saving grace is not going to be there, and of course, no shields available for Hadan if he does get EMP.
Tech 36 has already found Tonic. Not going to be an ideal fight. Sound barrier there for HSL, and Graceful's already committed his own EMP. They haven't shredded through the shield, and they don't even need to use the Transcendence. Hadan off to the side. That has been a staple of European supports. We barely ever see them get caught out by the EMP because they're just so conscious of it.
Askov playing really smart there as well, and this is always kind of the mind game you're looking for between the two, is that the several interactions you get between EMP and Sound Barrier. If EMP comes on top, it wipes it out. If you get it before, then you can save it just in time, but more on that after this. More of an engage coming through from Young and Beautiful.
Bubbles overlap, the Transcendence now available for Hadan. No risk of an EMP to shut that one down. They haven't got the healing that they need necessarily for HSL Esports. They're going to rely on Ashkov there with his Amp It Up. Here comes the Transcendence from Ding. They try to knock it away because Progi's using that Primal Rage, and he can displace a lot of members of of Young and Beautiful. They're getting onto the point. Progi, they're going to kill onto sooner. Zeke's just able to stay up here with that Graviton Surge. Don't want to commit it because they can win the fight already. Hang on a minute, that's just Gustav dropping down on top of Zeke. Will still manage to find Tonic as Ding's going to go down as well. Very dominant defensive hold on point B for HSL.
Absolutely. Just once again, it was a bit of a panic moment, I think, when the Trans came out early, and I thought surely Young and Beautiful engage once this is expired, but it chose not to. And Hadan, 60% back up towards that Trans already as well. They're balancing these ults out very well, juggling them between fights and not just throwing the kitchen sink at Young and Beautiful in an attempt to stave them off for another 30 seconds. They're making sure they're only committing as many resources required to each fight so they can hang on into the final 100 seconds of this round.
1 minute 35, rally being popped. Zeke still got the Graviton Surge. Held onto it, didn't use it last fight. He's got a normal Discord on his head. The line of sight's going to be broken, target's going to change. Graceful getting that EMP back online, but he's going down low. This might not be ideal for them because they need to get themselves a stable core to move forward before they commit to a set-piece fight. 1 minute 15 on the clock, and they're trying a different route.
Graceful's just walked straight into this spy check as well. If he tries VMP now, it's pointless, but the Trans is down as soon as it expires. He can use it, but he's going to die! He's
going to die before they can even get to use it. Tech 36 finding the double kill after the stun comes in from Sardis to deny Graceful. So they commit that Transcendence, but nothing else.
Young and Beautiful holding on to all of theirs, though they know this is their Hail Mary fight now with 5 ultimates coming online. Graceful was unlucky to get caught out there as well. Being caught in that surge did mean that, well, there's nowhere for him to go and use it. He has to wait, take the death, come back about 30 seconds later and try and execute the same move again. I'm still looking for him to get onto Hadan in the backline and melt him down. You get rid of those 2 supports, you're in a fantastic spot. But keep an eye out for Askov here because he's about to get the Sound Barrier online again. Do expect it to be hidden away because he knows Graceful has got that EMP.
They need to complete this map, Des, otherwise that draw is looking too likely. Graceful comes in with the EMP, Sound Barrier afterwards. Ashcroft avoids it yet again, and Progi already missing a lot of his health as he jumps into the Transcendence of Ding. Self-destruct on the point, buys some time, gets a double kill. 2 supports down for HSL Esports. If Young and Beautiful don't capitalize now, they will end up with a draw, and they do not want that. Tonic taking out Hadan, Ding follows up on the Progi. They have the man advantage. Clear the point and start getting yourself some percentage.
But they're down to 2 seconds now, so either way, no more overtime for them to play into this one, but they have got this going on their side. Danny with a double kill earlier on sets them up strong. Zeke, the final man on the point. Hadan and Askov, they're lurking around.
He's got the Transcendence. He's going to buy some time for HSL Esports to get back on the point, but the kills are still coming in for Young and Beautiful. They've bought time. Overtime can last indefinitely as long as they keep the tempo going. Tech 36 will get DMX, but now you have to deal with the Diva. Sardis looking to get in there, but they're body blocking with the shield bash to keep him from the point. It's enough for Young and Beautiful to complete the map.
Really weird as well, because Graceful's EMP at the start was only onto the tanks. You had the supports on the high ground who were like, I guess our Sound Barrier then just dropped in and kept everyone alive, but they still managed to win thanks to a fantastic vanilla self-destruct coming out of Danny and picking them up 2 kills that really, I don't feel they should have got, but they still managed to get away with it. Sardis going down on the Brigitte. Not the ideal scenario. However, Young and Beautiful complete. That means now they have those 2 points on the board, but no overtime. HSL need to full complete, of course, to at least tie this map. Then with the overtime they have, if any, they get to go again. If both teams go to 0, they both get 1 more minute to have another go.
Yeah, if HSL finish with at least a minute in their time bank, that triggers the draw. Simple as.
That's what you're looking for.
Get them below a minute if they're going to complete. That is your benchmark for success, Young and Beautiful. Who knows? They could pull out a valiant defense on point A, and we never even consider point B.
That's what you'll be looking for. However, last time round, Young and Beautiful, showed a lot of brains, adapting their comp quite well to split this Orisa-based competition, acknowledge that it can only defend one direction particularly well, and that shield, yes, it's spammable, it's constantly going to be online. It's not the largest shield in the world. You only keep so many members safe, which is why they were playing so close to the building just off the point. Problem then is you've got tanks out on the point, you've got a Sombra off to your left-hand side just constantly trying to hack you and zap you, and off to the other side on your left-hand side, or right-hand side, sorry, is a Pharah pelting you with rockets. It was a very hard ask for HSL to defend against that, because they had to move towards point and it would have been completely exposed to that Pharah.
How can you defend against all directions coming at you? Graceful's up high, going to have a lot of extra damage from the distance he's going to travel with his seismic slam, used to disrupt the transition. Tech36 looking for the hook, trying to catch a Sombra. We'll go back to the Diva instead. I think that's more of an effective spy check because it will guarantee a kill, basically.
Young and Beautiful rolling out with the Sombra Doomfist defense. We see quite a lot here as well, although Graceful a bit late to the party there, doesn't get the chance to interrupt them on their first pass into it.
Do it on the high ground instead. You could knock them off and completely disrupt it. So they're going to go in with the rocket punch. Deletes him down in the middle of a crowd. Progi will take his life for it. Without that extra healing that HSL Esports want, they might struggle on the next part of their plan. Graceful can get back to this point very quickly on the Doomfist, very mobile on that hero. HSL Esports starting to build up progress, and they haven't been able to complete the capture because Young and Beautiful still putting out a defense. Danny needs to avoid that damage coming out from Zeke. It's really high when you get into the plus 90s in that charge. And Danny, you can't defense matrix a laser. You need to get out the line of sight. Graceful comes back in. He's stunned up, has to uppercut. Sardis is still going to find the kill. You do it once, you might get some victory. You do it twice, you've got to secure it. The Tarek comes in, takes out hit down again. Tech36 is going to answer with Gustav to level it out. Young and Beautiful unable to get some complete defense because they keep trading back and forth. And with the spawn advantage, that plays an advantage of HSL Esports. They're going to take point A. It is now about denying them that plus 1 minute completion.
5 ults online from HSL, using very little in that fight as well. This could just be a straight roll over because that trans is 20% away from Gustav. Of course, it's not a whole ton, and he might just get enough to get it online, or enough random little autos being caught out onto someone as well to getting that ult online as they go for the push in. Suna very smartly as well. Well, not really smartly, but using the EMP wasn't really the most effective Fallen 2. He's going to roll out with it again, though. Hopefully, if he can get it online quickly enough, they can prevent the next attack. But this first one, we're going to have to see some very impressive defensive play coming out of Young and Beautiful to hold HSL back. Momentum
play for HSL Esports. One fight away from securing playoffs. If they just do this right, they can force out a draw, which guarantees them victory, regardless of what happens after the next completion. They get on to the point, start contesting it. There's a primal rage that's been deployed by Tonic to disrupt the fight. Sound barrier comes out. They're going to commit to this one. Ground on Surge pulls them together. There's the charge. Self-destruct on the point. That's free for Tech36 as Tonic, Suna, and Ding are going back to the spawn room, and the capture is rolling up fast. Graceful comes in with the Meteor Strike to buy some more time. Danny will take out Hidan, take the wind out of their sails, but he's charged up against the wall. He's been demate. Another swing and a hammer should do the trick. 2/3 of the pie. They're getting close to 75%, and they have control of the point. They just need to have control of the kills. 99.2%. Separate Young and Beautiful from playoffs, and they have to keep throwing bodies at the point. Tonic jumps in, Suna with the EMP. Progi, Tech36, Ashcon. These are the guys holding the ground. Zeke's going to take out Ding. Danny will answer with Progi. Danny's been nano boosted, but he's going to lose the mech. The nano boost no more. They're throwing bodies at the point as Gustav is the last man standing. That's all she wrote. HSL are going to the playoffs.
Although it's not the end of the map just yet, they get another round to play in as well. This does mean it ends at the minimum as a draw, which is why they go to playoffs, as you say. But let's see now if they can really rub salt in the wounds and get the full win of this series with a 4-0 to give themselves, again, that map difference going into playoffs. That could make all the difference come next week to see what their final standing is.
5 minutes to in the bank, 33.3%, or 33, whatever, percent required to capture and secure the victory of the series definitively. Like we said, they're only going to win. They've only won the series now because it guarantees a bare minimum of a draw for them, and you can't contend with the series points they've already racked up. So, HSL Esports are the 4th team to go to the playoffs from this group. Young and Beautiful can still fight here. They can still get a victory in terms of maps, but of course, they can also get the series win next week over Bazooka Puppies.
Wouldn't that be nice? A way to end out the series with a win, or way to end out the season with a win, I suppose I should say, or at least the group stages of it. Of course, playoffs do follow very briefly in the new year, not too far off. I'm interested to see, though, what HSL are going to roll out with here. What's their final attack they bring to the fore here for the round? Almost as not so much as a victory lap, but they do want to end it decisively. They do want to show what they're made of. As it stands right now, Tech36 already doing the same thing again, starting out with the Roadhog, throwing the hook out to try and catch a Sombra. And after that, changing immediately over to a more relevant pick for this comp.
No Joy, though. No Sombra to be found on Young and Beautiful.
There's the check.
Going to go back on to that Diva. HSL Esports, changing it up.
Okay.
Having a little bit of fun this time. They know what they've just secured.
Hey, now.
They've got some time to play with.
Triple DPS is fine. You're changing out, except the only thing we already here, I'm not sure about the Wrecking Ball in place of a Winston, which is what you'd normally take, but I guess it's more for the super mobility that you can get in and out very easily.
Let's just say the pressure's off for them to try something different. Let's go with that instead.
Yeah, sure.
Gonna poke that headshot. Not gonna get any kills. Zeke finding sooner. They've got 1 pick already. That's enough to send Progi into the middle. Start spinning. And look at this. We're going to see Sardis on the same flank that Graceful used against them. Round the back, Ding will take out Zeke. Look at this. Tonic can't defend from all directions, and he's getting blasted by Sardis right now. And now the supports are exposed. Gustav will hop away, trying to get some damage, but nothing to commit. Ding going to throw those orbs out. He goes for the right click, he misses it up. Nice defense matrix there from Danny. Will keep him alive, and through the grid in the window, Sardis will still find him. He's got that barrage ready to go. He needs to find a set piece to set it up. As he moves around to the side, wants to get closer. We're on board with Tech, who's playing that sniper. Barrage committed by Sardis. Danny will take him out, but he's already found one. And that was his mech. Gustav takes out Ashkov, so that Baron Mercy duo has been removed from the field. But his body's on a point for HSL Esports. Still sat on there sooner. Gets tagged, but it's not a headshot. Hidan will be the one to finish it off. Getting on the point, and Gustav will finally go down. Eyes on the spawn room. There's not much Young and Beautiful could do about that. HSL Esports played the map, and it's now a 3-0 scoreline.
One more map to go, and that will be the end of Week 4. Week 5, the final one we're looking towards, but for HSL, again, congratulations. Commiserations somewhat to Young and Beautiful as well for a series I wouldn't really say well fought. Okay, they tried.
It's a weird...
HSL have played pretty well. I can't really take that away from them, to be fair.
So it's a weird situation, right? Because you would normally say, well, their journey's come to an end, right? But it's not the end of their journey, because they're still going to compete next week in Week 5. But we know now that they're not going to carry on after that because they're not going to go to playoffs.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to jump to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you the conclusion of the night. Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders Europe. We're about to jump into our final map of the night. We've already seen HSL Esports punch their tickets to playoffs by beating out that third map on Hanamura against Young and Beautiful, denying them the series win and stopping them from getting that all-important 1 point on the board that keeps their dream alive moving into Week 5. HSL Esports said they are our fourth team, along with Giganti, Windstrike, and Morning Stars from this group.
And Dan, I'm a fan. That's all I can say. It seems to be your favourite way to describe people who are fans of Hidan. I would count myself in that club. Had a pretty good map overall there as well. In fact, most of the team did. And even for Young and Beautiful, despite losing, I've really enjoyed their assault coming into the Orisa comp. They obviously thought about, okay, how do we deal with this? This is what we're going to roll out with, how we're going to tackle this first point, and it worked wonders for them. Just on the second point, couldn't quite put the nail in the coffin for HSL. And instead ended up in a coffin themselves. Now, Route 66 for the final map. Again, it's going to be another Young and Beautiful pick. Rolling out the gate, HSL are going to be the first ones on defense, and Askoft, it looks like he's bringing a Torb unless he's planning to throw himself off the edge very soon.
We've seen Young and Beautiful perform better in the latter half of series when they've come against stronger opponents. When they've ultimately lost as well, they've still performed better on the final half of the maps. Yes, Hanamura is pretty dominant towards HSL Esports, but when we look at Route 66, we've performed pretty well over the course of this season on this map in particular.
Absolutely, and I think that Route 66 and nothing else is, again, just like we said in the last series for Bazooka Puppies, it's a chance to show for the players. You take just pride for the players, it can be a lot more. It is showing that there is still fighting spirit in this team, and again, looking at a lot of these players, like you wouldn't look at any objectively say, God, they're terrible and don't belong in Contenders. This is where it's a chance to again show that you have learned over the season that you are a good player. Playing as a unit is the best way to demonstrate that.
Graceful going to move around on this far again. Tonic's already found Hidan,
wow,
so they
nice
put
shots.
HSL on the back foot. His offense coming out strong for Young and Beautiful. They've dismantled HSL's defense when it came to this first point.
A lot of focus from Tech there on pushing forward towards the front line, and because he was engaging so deeply onto the tanks, trying to force them back, it gave Graceful all the agency in the world to just push off to the right-hand side, hovering over the map, and just fire at the supports. It so happened that he was quite lucky that both supports were basically sat on top of each other, as the splash damage of those rockets did quite a lot. I think it got changed recently to be 120 damage for a direct hit, 80 damage for the splash afterwards. A couple of those rockets and supports will die very quickly.
Absolutely, and they're also good at busting shields now because that increased direct damage on a large target, like a Reinhardt shield, is going to break it down. Nice hosing down with the barrage. Late reaction from HSL Esports, but it's a reaction none the same. Ashcroft going to take Graceful out of the sky during the barrage. Zeke comes in for the hack, and they want to regain control of this payload and force Young and Beautiful to maybe change this one up.
Maybe think about it. Might help. Zeke down 23 HP, needs to be careful. Someone can blow on him and he'll die here, but he's not about halfway towards the EMP sooner. He's much closer to his own mind juice, so should be able to get in there and make something happen.
Gustav, staying on the... Oh, okay. No, I was going to say, it's an interesting decision to stay on the Mercy. You had the Valkyrie available, but I think they'd rather have the Lucio base with the rest of his composition.
Changing things up and being a bit more standard, you might say. On the other side, we're still seeing a Moira coming into the mix as well as that Sombra. So both sides have got Sombra. Sooner pulls the trigger.
With no shield, Progy's going to get absolutely deleted. Ding, finding another kill onto Ashcroft. Zeke will shut him down, but one kill against how many coming in for Young and Beautiful. It's not going to stop the flow. The payload keeps in motion. Yeah,
so nice EMP to pull it out there as well, knowing you have that advantage of the other side not having EMP. But Young and Beautiful will know that Zeke now, that have been keeping track, that Zeke will have his EMP online. In fact, most of the ultimates on the other side are pretty much about to come online. It's Askoff who's slightly behind. They want to try and contest this point before it gets all the way. They want to try and go for a full hold if possible.
Pushing forward. Use the rally early, give everyone that armor. Hidan still keeping with the Moira. Self-destruct goes over the top. Won't find anyone, but a coalescence in a tight corridor. It dispels disaster for Young and Beautiful. Progy will get the stun onto Suna. Graceful taking out Sardis, will deny that Brigitte. Now they have no protection for this Reinhardt. They want to go for a shield back. There's nothing he can do about it. Apart from maybe nice barrier coming in from the lucky Zarya. Shadow on pocket for Progy. He's stunned up, pushed back, won't be killed yet, throws it down, will find multiple members, goes for the charge to finish off Tonic. It's gonna be stat happening right now. Graceful being taken out by Progy before he's taken out by Danny. Young and Beautiful still have control. Relatively, they're having to fight hard against HSL, who are struggling to get it back. They've got bodies on the point, they've got the supports there to keep everyone alive. They want to burn through D.Va while she's out of a mech, but the protective barrier will keep Danny alive so we can get the remech. As Ding will take out Hidan. Really struggling to burn through Young and Beautiful. Young and Beautiful don't have that issue at all.
Really smart from Suna to get that objective barrier down onto the baby D.Va as she descended back down to earth to get back into a mech, and Tech has been annihilated from his mech. He is out. Danny pulling the trigger on that one. It looks like for now, Young and Beautiful will be able to turn this up and move on towards the second stage of Route 66.
Key frags there coming in from Ding. Finds himself a tasty little 4K, throwing those hands into HSL Esports. 3 minutes on the clock, and they move into the second section.
Just blasting them out, man. What can I say? And Ding was one of the names that we talked about quite a lot last season as well. And this season he's been a lot quieter, admittedly, on a team that hasn't performed as well as maybe he would have hoped. But still in this series, he's got himself a good few kills. I'm never going to forget that Danny Ding 2 versus 4 that we saw earlier on Mecha Base.
Pretty good.
Pretty ingrained into my memory from here on out.
Froggy's moving around with an Earth Shatter. Looking for the flank, but Young Beautiful well aware. Not going to find many. Will knock him down. Froggy's holding the line. Goes through with a charge. This corridor makes the difference. Tonic going down, leaks damage. Froggy throwing down the shattering zone. Grabs on search for them all together. Sound barrier is there. Graceful takes out Sardis. They move around the corner, fighting on the stairs. They're getting back onto the payload. Zeke's about to get Graviton Surge. Might not need to commit this fight because HSL Esports are winning away, but he's going to throw it down anyway. Sooner still takes him out. Progi comes in afterwards, finds Gustav, and the aforementioned Zarya player. Needs to back off with that Orb of Harmony on him. Payload still moving for Young and Beautiful, despite a lot of kills coming in for HSL.
Managed to at least beat them back for now. Young and Beautiful are truly on the move towards the second point with a minute and a half in at the bank to go. Hidana's got the Transcendence Zone, as we've seen all day, especially from up early on in their series. That was Giganti versus Windstrike. Having that available pretty much all the time was a huge help to his team, being able to basically block any effort by the other side of Windstrike to completely shut them down. Hidana's got the capability to do the same here again, but Ding is about to hit his trans as well, so maybe we get the like for like.
Froggy's been isolated from the rest of the team. Will block out that self-destruct damage. He's not going to go down. There's going to be a shatter planted in by the Frogmeister, but Ashcroft will get the kill into Graceful. No one else hitting the floor for now. Ashcroft is trying to deny the high ground away from Sooner. Froggy will take out the mirror matchup and takes control of the high ground himself. Young and Beautiful struggling to get a foothold in his payload now that it's entered HSL territory.
Yeah, 1 minute to go as well, so they've got to make sure the next attack is a good one. It might not be their last if they move quickly, but it may well turn out to be if they keep this one going too slowly. Progi's hanging around the back here. No Shadow just wants to try and get on the high ground, I think, to join his team and also make sure they have that vision on where they're coming from. Is it tunnels, which it looks like it might well be? Yes, it will. Or they're going to push the stand away. Young and Beautiful opting to go into the darkness.
Going to be tunnels. Emerge into the light. Already heard a dink coming out for Ding there. Pressing forward.
Dinky Ding.
Going to be fighting over that bridge instead. Now the drop down takes place. Young and Beautiful going to keep Ding up on the high ground. Relative safety. Progi being held up in the Graviton Surge by himself. Sound barrier is there. Charge moves him around yet again, but he won't go down just yet. As someone's flown off the map, or at least off of our vision. He's going to be still alive. Tonic holding that line. Press forward around the corner. Tech 36 up on the high ground. Sooner doing his best to burn through the hellfire. It's not going to work. No kills coming in and 20 seconds remaining. This is do or die for Young and Beautiful. Graviton Surge pulls them together. Looks like the option might be die. Transcendence keeps him alive, but Tech still finds 2. Gustav and Tonic going down. This could be it for Young and Beautiful if HSL Esports commit and finish this one off. Danny gets alive with his mech for now, but he needs to chase him down. Self-destruct goes up high. They're cowering in the saloon, but there's a bit of a letter number going in for Young and Beautiful. HSL Esports and their push right now.
Unfortunate for Tonic there as well, because despite not being the one that got charged out of the circle by Progi, well, about the Graviton Surge by Progi, he still didn't manage to get the shield up in the air and make sure he could protect his Lucio and himself, of course, against that self-destruct. And being 2 members down, we speak a lot about GOATs. It's very dependent on the Lucio, the speed boost to engage, to disengage, to reposition. Without him, or your main tank there to keep anyone else alive, it's pretty much guaranteed to fall apart, and that's exactly what happened to Young and Beautiful.
Now Young and Beautiful get to play the defensive game. Is their map pick. You'd assume they would be as good at that offense as they are as their defense, or at least relatively close to it. Going to take the fight to HSL Esports. We see aggressive positioning on Route 66. You've got a lot of time to burn because there's a lot of distance to travel. Let's see. They play towards what we expect, and whether HSL Esports can break that initial defense as quickly as Young and Beautiful did.
I'd really like them to mirror what HSL did actually and bring the fire to the party and have Graceful play that again. He had a very good round when it came to Hanamura, using it from the side flanks and getting damage down. Just do it again to split the attention of HSL. And we've always said all day long, and all of yesterday to be honest as well, it was a common theme, was that when a team plays aggressive on GOATs and the other side can't handle it, that is when you win. It's been the definer in a lot of series when we've seen teams go quiet and be a bit more passive. Like one point yesterday against Angry Titans, when they started playing more defensively, they started losing. So all you got to do for Young and Beautiful here is just go for it. Get on the fire, play aggressive, keep them guessing, confuse them, and try and win some fights off the back of that one. HSL have got their own plans though, currently looking to roll out with something a little bit different.
5, 4, 3.
Well,
yeah, definitely different.
They might not commit to this one because they're still in the spawn room. Des?
Spawn, scouting arrow, and then change. The reason they're doing this is because they want to get the scouting arrow to see if they're trying to hold inside the train there. It's where you'll normally stick a Zarya, because it's very hard to force a Zarya out of there. But they were sitting a bit further back there, Young and Beautiful, not wanting to play that aggressively.
They go for the right clicks. Hadan versus Ding. It's been a good Zenyatta matchup. In fact, it was so close they killed each other at the exact same time at one point, both with right clicks. Pretty impressive, you don't usually see it. That Zarya now working there like a tick sooner up there, and it's going to require some resources to de-robe him from that area. Or, shall we say, what is it when you get kicked out of property?
Quite happily.
When you get kicked out of property.
Evicted.
Evicted, there we go, that's the word I'm looking for. Graceful evicting Progi from his life. We're going to push him back to the spawn room now. Good, solid hold from Young and Beautiful to kick things off.
Yeah, well, they are managed to get some kills and push him back here as well. Let's hold HSL out for now. HSL, trans online. It's one thing I'm looking towards, and Ding once again getting himself in the kill feed time and time again.
Pollitt did go down in that fight, so he's got a bit of a walk back from the spawn room. That's a window of opportunity for HSL to capitalize on, especially because Tonic is coming back with an Earth Shatter. They need to be careful that they do something with that respite they gained before he gets back there and shatters their hopes and dreams.
Straight away, Askoff was like, right, guys, go, 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 I'll boost you in, let's go for it. Luke wants to take that fight, but he's back.
Down to Surge, pulls them together. There we go, Progi being bashed around a little bit. He's going to stay alive in that Transcendence. Tonic's back on the field. He's got the Shadow ready to go. Danny's about to get it self-destruct. Suna's already committed the grab, but he's working back towards another one. 26% and climbing. He's got armor under his shield as well. It's going to be even tankier and harder to deal with.
Looking, trying to see where the Brigitte is here as well. Maybe trying to flank through tunnels. No, just off the right hand side there's Graceful. They want to push this one, but get the stun down. Can they time it together? No, they can't. Didn't go for the Shadow in that instance. There we go, trying to go for it completely blind. It makes it work.
Through the payload, only finding one. The grab will pull them together. Self-destruct and free for Tech 6. And he's going to find another one. Ding, a little bit delayed. I think the damage knockback might have knocked him off the map.
Quite possibly, yeah. But either way, now they're going to find themselves on the push, on the move, with 2 minutes remaining in the clock, on towards that first point. Again, they want to take them to turn this into a 4-0 if they can. Because let's not forget as well, if you finish 4th in groups, which is where HSL are currently set to finish, you face off against the #1 seed in the other group.
Looking like it's going to be AT, isn't it, in the other group?
I don't really fancy facing Angry Titans in my first game of playoffs, I won't lie.
Scary prospect.
Very scary prospect.
Well,
being one of last year's finalists as well. Woo.
Bit of a problem for them. HSL Esports close to getting that first checkpoint. It did come very close in terms of time back for Young and Beautiful on their offense. Looking to match what HSL did on the defense. Both orbs sitting on Progi. Hopefully they cancel each other out. The sound barrier being used by Gustav to push forward and buy territory for Young and Beautiful. Shatter finding 2. Now make that 3. That was a deep on the back line. Nice charge through. Isolates the Zarya. Protected barrier will keep them up. Sooner not going to go down to that pin. They're moving around and sitting in Transcendence to keep him up. There's a Graviton Surge coming out from Zeke. And it's Hadan and Progi to finish him off. Sooner ends up killing himself with the damage. But he needed to reset anyway because that was a lost fight for Yab.
Get themselves on the move. It was a very interesting interaction there as well, because although we saw the charge come through from Progi onto Suna, Suna thought he was going to die when he touched the wall, but yeah, the protective barrier was there, and the Zenyatta moved just inside range as well to get the line of sight directly onto Suna and keep him tucked up despite the swings coming through from Progi. At first it wasn't there, so it was a smart play. Now we're on to the second point, see if they can get all the way to the end of this one here and take the series 4-0 for a decisive win.
They're going to fight straight to them on the payload. Going to push him underneath that gate, but, well, the gate's going to have to have closed by now because they pushed clearly through it. It does create a wall that they can't retreat further back from, and they might be trapped between a rock and a hard place. Shadow coming down already. Progi has one of his own. Sound barrier defeats it, delayed it a little bit more. Unfortunately, Zeke not able to commit. Progi finding Graceful and a couple of others on the back line. They can't press forward. They're being pinned in this room, and the self-destruct denies them even more area. But Danny will go down outside of his mech after he committed that self-destruct. You've got double support ultimate available for Young and Beautiful. Now Suna's got a grab as well, but Progi going to be held up with that Transcendence from Hidan to keep him in. But Ding's going to find Ashkov, and a charge will take outside it. How many charges, how many shatters are they going to have in this one fight?
3. Tonic got that second one back online very quickly there as well. When you're fighting in close proximity under an archway like this, every cleave you're swinging away is probably hitting 2 or 3 members. Your fire strikes are doing the same story. You would get that back online very, very quickly, and as you saw for Tonic, well, the Tonic was the second Earth Shadow which won in that fight.
Progi, he's got an Earth Shadow to come back next time. Well, it's the self-destruct from Tech 6, but the whole buffet of support ultimates available for Young and Beautiful. You got the armor, the Transcendence, the sound barrier, everything coming up, Yab. Just need to break through what HSL are throwing at you, and they've taken an alternative route. They've gone for the tunnels. But Young and Beautiful, they've got control of the payload. That's all they need.
Absolutely, just got to settle at this point as well and make sure they can't do it. We've seen this happen last week as well, where the teams flip sides, because funnily enough, playing inside this kind of tighter area where it's a bit harder than to suddenly dive in and kill a target who's off to the side makes things a lot harder for HSL to force them out of this zone that they're in.
Well, they're coming out of their cage and they're feeling just fine until they get shattered by the Frogmeister. As Graceful's going to take out Hidan. The counter shatter and counter attack from Young and Beautiful. It's going to make them all fine. 1 minute remaining and they want to try and stall out Tech.
That's almost a perfect bash shadow combo as well. Sardis off to the right hand side, coming through blue apartment, swinging out and getting the stun onto the main tank. Call everyone. But they just didn't have the follow-up damage immediately afterwards. And we saw this from Windstrike earlier on today, where they had a combo come through, but Sharik was sat in the backline as the main tank, a bit too scared to push so far forwards. Same sort of story there, but it wasn't the main tank. It was the rest of the team not being willing to pile the damage onto a target. This is what happens when you get the shadow down, but you don't call out the main target to focus. Everyone kind of layers a bit of damage here and there, but no one ultimately dies, and they can counter immediately afterwards.
30 seconds remaining. I think they might have to do this one in overtime, because Young and Beautiful, they're in there like ticks. Just ready to emerge like they did last time, and we saw how effective that was. Amp it up, push them in, self-destruct, goes into the tunnel. They have to completely vacate the area. Tech is still going to find Tonic, and the payload has to be getting in motion. Find some more kills and remove Young and Beautiful from the field. Ashcroft comes in to kill Graceful. The health bars are in disarray for Young and Beautiful, and now the payload will get moving again. But like I said, Des, it's going to be done in overtime.
Young and Beautiful are like that stubborn teenager who just refuses to come out of their room, locks the door and doesn't let anyone in to go and speak to them there, because they held onto that archway for a good couple of minutes. HSL really struggling to get them out, and it comes from a Hail Mary self-destruct, which ultimately catches out Tonic, removes the main tank from the party, and they manage to win from the back of that. But like I say, in overtime, there's one more fight here between HSL going 4-0 and Young and Beautiful claiming a map in this series.
Look at Sardis looking around the corner with the third-person peek. It's a nice angle, and he's relatively protected in there to look and get a read on what's going on. Here comes the early grab from Young. Beautiful. One fight will give them the map victory here. No one goes down to their combo. Shatter drop down onto multiple members. Where are the kills? They're not coming in for Yab just yet. In fact, the D-Mech on Danny will spell disaster as the trans comes in too late to save his mechanical apparatus. But Graceful's going to take out Sardis and move back into the fight. There's the sound barrier for Young and Beautiful, keeping everyone topped up. The kills are going in their favor. They've got control. They're going to shut down HSL Esports, and in a bittersweet moment, take a map that is ultimately inconsequential.
But still a win if nothing else. A bit of pride in the line for the guys there to not get 4-0'd in ultimately the match that mattered the most. Just to show that there is still some fight in them as well, and they can pull it off again. Playing like the moody teenager, sitting in the room, refusing to move, seemed to work out pretty well for them there on that final point. They do take the map, but once again, commiserations to them for not making playoffs, and congratulations to HSL for doing just that.
Yeah, HSL switched off the router, but joke's on them. They have 4G, so they're going to be still gaming, still grinding, keeping on the go. And they will be as they move into our final week. Like we said, they have been denied playoffs, but there's still a lot on the line there. You got fight money, you got pride. You do not want to be the only team in this group that goes without a series win. And that will be decided as Young and Beautiful will place off against Bazooka Puppies in our next week. But for now, we're going to go over to our analyst desk to close out the show.